Welcome to the first live Mother's Love. A Mother's Love. The first live Mother Love. You know how you guys get those bloopers, them bleepers and stuff afterwards? This time you're going to get it in the session.
It's going to be fun, y'all.
Yes.
So let's start off with telling them a little bit about A Mother's Love for anyone who doesn't know what it is. You want to tell them about it?
Okay. A Mother Love is a show that I decided to do because I seen a lot of younger people who was stressed out. They was stressed out trying to do work, take care of their children, and a lot of them have their own businesses that they were trying to do. And I said, I believe God gave me the inspiration to do this because it really is not easy. I also seen other people that was going through this, like grandparents, fathers who's raising their children. We have a lot of those these days. We have a lot of grandparents and great-grandparents that today it's like they're raising their great-grandchildren, and it's been a long time since they raised children. So we try to talk through different things to give each other, because including me and Natalie, to give each other feedback on how you get through some things and how we got through some things. So today live, I need y'all to type in some stuff.
Yes, I got my phone ready, so I'm looking down. I'm looking for you.
To give us feedback on this subject that we're having today. And this is a subject that a lot of people get in, husbands get into it with wives, and wives with husbands, and people, period. We're talking about discipline and which way you will discipline your children. Do you feel it's whoopings or no whoopings? Standing in the corner or punishments, or how do you think you should go about disciplining your children? So I know we're going to have a lot of questions about this today.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
We're going to have a lot of questions about this today. So my raising, I raised 4, I tell y'all all the time, 4 adult children I have now. And I also had their friends, neighborhood children. I had her.
Wait, before we get to that, who are you?
Oh, my name is Ernestine Battles.
Yes.
And I've been with you all for a few weeks now, so I believe that everybody should know who I am, but that's not the truth. My name is Ernestine Battles, and this is Natalie Battles, my daughter. She's my co-host, and we're trying to get this thing together. Yes. So be patient with us, because as I said once before, I'm a behind-the-scenes person. This is my first time getting out in the light.
And this is her first live, y'all, so I'm really excited.
Yes.
This is her first live. We have pre-records for anyone who is new to the page, to the story, to the show. Go to the YouTube page, A Mother's Love, Love is Rooted in Happiness, and find our previous shows, our intro, as well as 2 full shows on there. And so I'm really proud of her. I just wanted to stop and say that. But we can get into it now. I just wanted everyone to know who you are, because you're amazing.
Oh, okay. That's my baby girl. Okay. And she making me do this.
Yes, I am. Because the whole time she's like, I want people to join in. I really want it to be a community. And I know that for everyone who's on Facebook, Facebook Live is one of the easiest ways to do that. You go live on Facebook, people comment, and they hop into the conversation, and you can even bring people up on screen with Facebook Live now. So I know this is a great way to reach you guys where you are and get your in the moment right away feedback. So don't be afraid to get those thumbs going. Get involved in this conversation. Again, I got my phone right here. I'm checking so I can bring up your comments and read them live. Okay? All right. So, punishments.
Okay.
How to discipline our children.
How?
Let's get into it. So, can we start by how you discipline your children?
Oh, I threatened them real good. I must say, I did not have to whoop my children a lot. If I could probably count on one hand as many times that I had to discipline my children by whipping. But I scared them so in the beginning that they knew how to act. Okay, and so I talk to them. I'm the type of mother that I would like to sit down and I would like to talk to them. But I'm the type of mother also that is not finna take no stuff, okay? I was talking to Natalie earlier today, and we were talking about a couple of the things that I would say, even in church, my church, War Memorial. The children in my church even knew my words when I was gonna get you. I used to tell them, I'm gonna slap taste out your mouth if you don't sit yourself down.
Now, I wasn't that one, okay? I just want to interject right here. I'm the youngest of 4, okay? One of which being Carlisa Nicole Battles now, Thomas, all right? So I learned well. I saw what they did, and I learned not to do it. So I probably got the least of the amount of punishment out of all 4.
Yes, she did. She got the least amount. I don't actually ever remember getting on her like the rest of them.
I used to check. I used to be like, oh, not that. Got you.
Yeah.
Understood.
I did have to put her in a place a couple of times after she considered herself grown. Must say, when she went to college, she come home and think she was going to do the same thing she did there.
We're going to get to that part. We're going to get to that part.
Other than that, I ain't have too much trouble with her. Okay, but I talk to my children. I have always wanted to talk to them about anything, and I always told them that they could talk to me about anything. So if they had problems with children at school, teachers, family, it didn't matter. You could come talk to me about it, and I would have preferred them to talk to me than to keep stuff in. So if they did wrong, most of the time I threatened them like I told you I was going to slap the taste out their mouth. And then when I seen other things that happened in the street while I was out, when I seen other children doing stuff that I would not allow, when I walked in the door, my first words were,
if I ever catch y'all outside wearing pajamas, if I ever walk on the bus and y'all in here cussing, if I ever.
that was
If
my
I
word.
ever.
If I ever seen you do what I see these kids do in the street, you would have to handle me, because I'm going to knock you out. That was my threat. That was my promise. And that's what I meant. But I must say, several times I had gotten on the bus and I was at the bus stop and didn't even know my child was in the crowd. And she didn't know I was in the crowd. So several times I have gotten on the bus or was standing on the bus stop with my children and did not know until I got on there. So they were respectful. I was proud of that. We have other family members and friends that seen them on the bus coming from school or going places that always commented on how respectful they were when they was out. So I praise God, thank God for that I did not have to slap the taste out
If
their
she
mouth.
ever.
And I didn't have to say if I ever. So
I think one thing that's really important to take away from what you're saying is, one, she believes in hitting. Okay. Because there's a thing, some parents don't believe in hitting, some parents do. Some people believe in punishment or talking to. There's no wrong or right instance. As long as you're not just beating and abusing your children, there's no right or wrong to it. Hitting, no hitting, talking is different variations. And again, there's no rule book to this. We are not perfect. Okay, you have to figure out what works best for you and your child. And to take away from what you said was that number one thing is that you wanted to talk to us.
Right.
And I think that's very, very, very important. I know for me, I talk to Jaleel. I talk to my son, and when it comes to my discipline style, it's in the league of its own, I'm certain. Because I talk to him, and since he was a baby, I talk him through everything. So even when, because I do also, I'm going to raise my hand, I'm not in the exempt from popping a hand as well. But I've always said that I didn't want to beat or hit my kids when they were younger. I do believe in pops, like I said. But I want to talk to them. I want them to understand what they're doing wrong. Because I think a lot of the times when we haul off and we hit and we whoop our kids and we don't talk to them and we don't explain what's going on, they don't know what not to do. They don't know what the problem was. So, again, I talked to Jaleel. So, even when he was a baby, before I started with the pops, now that I do pop, I'll tell him why I'm about to do it before I do it. We sit there and have a conversation. I say, bring me your hand. And I sit here and talk him through exactly why what's happening is about to happen and what's going to happen immediately after that and what he needs to do better. He agrees that he understands. He gets the pop, we go about our business, or he goes back to his time out, because I also am a huge fan of times out, okay?
Yeah.
Take some stuff away from the kids. Because another thing, growing up, I remember having conversation with other kids, and we'd be like, man, long as the parents don't get hip, I take a whooping before I take a punishment. Well, I used to have those conversations. Hit me. Hit me and send me on my way to go do whatever it is I was doing, okay? But punishments, you couldn't have. Baby, mama used to take my phone in a heartbeat. That was my punishment. She used to take my phone or give me limits or something like that for my phone. I'm like, oh, man, that was my thing. Because I was the youngest, so I was coming up when it was a phone. Before that, it really wasn't no cell phone. That's how I came around. So that was my punishment. So taking things away from children, we have those conversations as well. You can't treat your things with respect, I'm going to take it away. And really making sure your children know why the discipline action is happening, whether it's a talking to, whether it is a pop, whether it's punishment, something being taken away. Explaining to them why it's happening, I think, is very important through all ages, from a young age all the way up to even, you got to discipline these adults, because you got all grown kids.
Oh, I have to get on them sometime. They 30s and hitting hit 40s real soon, so I have to get on them sometime. But while you was talking, I was thinking about another thing that we have to do. Whether we put them on punishment or whatever you choose to do, we have to follow up on what we do. Because that's something that messes up our children, because we don't follow up. We tell them, go in your room, don't watch no TV, you can't play your game. Okay? And 5 minutes later, they be right on back in there with you, doing their games, playing, and you ain't paid them no attention. We have to follow up on what we tell them to do. If we say you can't do it for 2 or 3 hours, then you can't do it for 2 or 3 hours. If we say a week, we got to be stern and make sure that it lasts that week. Because once they get used to you not continue to make sure they do what they're supposed to do, they be like, she told me go in here. I'll be back in an hour. I'll be back in an hour.
And that's the thing. Human beings, animals, cats, dogs, whatever, they do what you allow them to do. So we're teaching them. That's one thing too. We're teaching our children. So we can't not fully, a little bit you can, but not fully, be upset with our children for doing certain things if we didn't show them how to do it or not to do it.
Right.
We are their teachers. We set examples. So that's another. I catch Jaleel all the time, and I don't get mad. I don't fault him for it. If I tell him not to throw, that's our thing. He loves to throw things, and I'm like, Jaleel, stop throwing. Do not throw, so you can't do that. And then I throw him his pillow. He'll turn around to me and be like, Mommy, no throwing. And I'd be like, you know what, son? You absolutely right.
Yeah.
My bad. Let me put this gently, nice and neat. That's our alternative to throwing, nice and neat. And we try it again. And he give me a good job, Mommy. And I'll be like, thank you, baby. And we gotta show our kids the way to do certain things. And if we're not showing them, then we can't fully be mad that they're doing whatever they're doing, especially when they're young, because they're trying to figure stuff out.
Right.
So if we let them get away with certain things, they like, oh, this is how this works. I can basically do whatever I want to do. She gonna yell and talk, or he gonna yell and talk, and I'm gonna go about my life.
Right.
So we have to instill the discipline within them early.
Yeah. And so on another tip is we have a tendency of giving up and on our children. We can't do that. You know your child. So I was talking about this the other day. You know your child. Some children, you can tell to do something and they're going to, Johnny on the spot, they're going to do it. It's going to be done right. You tell another one to go do it and they're going to be sitting there all day long. You think they in their room cleaning up. They ain't touched nothing. The room look worse than when you first told them to do it. And that child, you know that you have to constantly be on. You have to constantly tell that child, do that, make that bed up, sweep that floor, pick them toys up, put that in your box. You got a child that you have to tell that to. And then you got a child that you don't have to do. You tell them one time and they go do what they do. But you know your child. So if that child has to have that attention of you standing there when they do what they do, stand there. Because eventually they're not going to want you to stand there and they're going to do what they have to do because they don't want you standing there.
And then again, we have to show them. We have to show them. So even if it's step by step, this is exactly how you do this and this is why, you have to do it. And again, you got to know your child.
Yeah, you got to know.
Look, she had 4 completely different kids, okay?
Yes.
Completely different children, 4 of them.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure you had to address each of us in a different
way. Yeah, I did. I got one that I had to be like that until clean up 15 million times or stand over her. Then I have one that it wasn't a problem about cleaning up because she was going to threaten everybody else to clean up.
Okay. Order it.
And then I have another one that I ain't never had to say nothing to about cleaning up or doing what he needed to do. And y'all know who that is because I ain't got but one son.
And I just told you she going in order.
And I ain't have to tell him nothing. His room stayed clean. His clothes was put up. He came in. He did what he had to do. No problems. I have another one that I ain't really have to tell her about cleaning up too much because my Carlisa was going to do that. She was going to make sure she cleaned up.
Big facts.
But my thing with her was I wanted her to get herself together. And I would buy her all kind of clothing and all that. And she reminded me so much of me, to tell you the truth. She reminded me so much of me because my mama used to tell me, won't you go in there, put on that, dress that up, put that on, wear that dress. And I'd be like, if they can't take me like I am, then they don't need to be with me. Those was my words.
Where I get it from.
This is that child.
I even look like her, y'all.
This is that child right there. So then I also had another young man, which was my cousin slash nephew, that lived with us. I helped raise. We called him Big Junior. That was a person that I never had to say anything to. I never had to say, did you do your homework? Did you do what I asked you to do? Nothing. He was always on it. Always.
So you really have to be able to maneuver as a parent. We should already know, if you're a parent or an auntie or an uncle or a cousin or a grandma or a granddaddy, you already know you got to be maneuverable. You got to be flexible. Yes. But sometimes it's within a few seconds span, you have to be flexible when you have multiple children that you're dealing with. Because, again, it'd be one, you could say, go do that, and they're going to do it. And then 2 seconds later, another one walk up and you be like, all right, let me come watch you do this. Because you got to move with them. And so I think when it comes to disciplining our children, the most important thing for me is that you have to start early.
Yes.
You have to start early.
You cannot wait until they get older, teenagers, big children. You can't wait to try to teach them how to do anything.
5 is too late.
Look, you start from the womb.
Absolutely.
Okay? I started talking to my babies from the womb. And as they got older, I talk baby talk. Hey, granny, baby. But when I was serious, it was never baby talk. It was always look at grandma in the face or look at mama in the face, because I need to look at you eye to eye, because I need you to understand that I'm serious about what I'm saying now. Hey.
Yeah, they're gonna say hey.
Hey.
And I don't know if you see these comments from Carlisa, but it's
yeah, I see Carlisa comments too. You got to be serious with these children, and you got to be honest with them also.
Yes.
If you want them to be honest with you, you have to be honest with them.
And apologize to your children.
Right. Oh. Apologize.
That hit a heart.
That hit me to my heart. Apologize, y'all. Because I was looking back when my children was younger. I was looking back at some videotapes. You know how you used to have the camera, you videotape and stuff. And I remember I went down south with my children. And I hollered at my oldest daughter because she was playing and she jumped in the camera, just playing, hey, you know, like that. Move. This was me. Move. You play too much. Get out the way. So when I look back at that film, it hurt me to my heart. And this is when she was a little girl. Well, she was the oldest, and I had all 4 of them. So she had to be about 9 or 10 years old. And it hurt me to my heart because I see myself hollering at her for being a child, which what she was, a child. So I have apologized to them all the time for hollering because I was a hollerer at that time. And it took me to see me do it to understand that that was not right. I was hurting her feelings. So, and my daughter Carlisa, always tell me, if you apologize one more time for that, I'm telling you, they all in their 30s except for this one. She finna be 30.
She's like, Carlisa said, I get tired of mama apologizing. Thanks, Ma.
She gets so tired of me apologizing for that. But once I seen what I done, it did something to me to change me. So now I tell them all the time, you know, like I might hear them hollering at my grandchildren or something. I was like, stop hollering at them. It hurts their feelings, you know. Well, they should do what I tell them to do. Then, you know, that's what I get back.
And I think that brings up a really good point. So we mentioned talking to your children. talking them through their punishment so they know what's going on, talking them through what the problem was, and then the way we talk to them is really important. Yeah. Because everything is not always a space or a time for extreme discipline. I'm a hard butt with my son, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we play, we have fun, but certain things because I'm training him to be a certain way. And that's absolutely fine, but I also understand certain things don't cause for discipline. Like, I catch myself sometimes maybe frustrated at the moment or whatever it is, because we talked on a earlier episode about how mothers need to take time for themselves and fathers need to take time for themselves, or they gonna be yelling at everything. Is you breathing right now? Like, if you upset and you ain't had your me time, everything gonna make you mad. Right. But everything does not cause for discipline at that moment. Sometimes it's just a word. It's just a talking to. Sometimes it is a pop. Sometimes it's a pop and a word, you know. But how we talk to our children and deciding when is the time to discipline and when it's not is very important. Yes. I've seen some traumatic situations where parents, male, female, otherwise, grandparents, aunties, cousins, yell and curse out their children. Not acceptable, guys. I know, in my opinion, I'm going to say in my opinion, because I ain't perfect either. I know, I'm not Jesus, neither. I ain't wrote no books. I could, but I ain't wrote none. But in my opinion, that's not okay, guys. That's not okay. First of all, again, we're teaching our children. So if we're cursing them out and yelling at them, and they all types of MFs and some other stuff, how do you think they're going to react to people out in the world when they aren't getting the reaction or the action that they are looking for? They're going to feel like it's okay to go and cuss people out and yell and scream and do all of that as well. Right. We're training our children. So I know it's hard, y'all. I got a 2-year-old that's spirited, okay? He's spirited. And he been before. And he's spirited. So I know it be taking some of everything, not to just, yank him up or cuss him out. But if we take that deep breath, which is what I've been training man to do since forever, because we're going to manage our emotions. Take that deep breath and explain what's going on and why they're doing and why what they're doing is wrong. We have to be able to do that because we are literally birthing the world. Yeah. So if they think it's okay to cuss people out and do all of that, when they get from not around you, because they're not going to do it back to you immediately. Don't mess around and get old and need them, though. That's a whole nother story, though. But they're going to go out in the world and do that and think that that's acceptable behavior when it's not. That's why we have so many people out here the way that they are. Right. Because that's the way that they were taught to. That's the way that they were disciplined or punished. So we really have to be mindful of the way that we talk to our children. And then that goes into the apology portion as well. Because I say sorry. And it teaches him to say sorry as well. Yeah. And we have to be able, I know we're mothers, we're the fathers, we're the grandparents, but we have to be able to say, I am sorry to your children when you think you did something that wasn't right. Because how would they know to say I'm sorry when they does something? Absolutely. And then we also have to say we're sorry and know that they know. If you tell them to do something and then they were trying to do something else, and you go, oh, okay, and you figure out what it was, or any of those type of situations, they like, oh, she messed up. And if you don't say you sorry, that's resentment that's going to add up. From an early age to adults or whatever, they catch your mistakes just like you caught your mistake. Just say you're sorry. Speak on it and keep an open line of communication with your children. It's so important because that's going to carry on all the way into adulthood, that open line of communication. And not always a lash out, but let's talk about what the problem is and how we can fix it. So I'm going to start reading some of these comments because I see them coming in. And while she getting some of the comments in, another thing that we have to learn also is that we have communication with our children, but it is a way to have communication with your child. It's not a good thing when you're talking to them and they're talking back to you like they your age.
Okay?
Speak on it.
So you talk to them, but you give them their chance to talk, but you don't talk when I'm talking.
I'll be right back.
You wait on me. Okay? I'm going to tell you how I feel, and when I finish with my conversation to you, then I'm going to allow you to talk to me in a fashion that lets you know that I am your mother or your grandmother or your father and not your peer.
And that's trained behavior.
Right, because a lot of times they talk back to us like we wanted them, and that is not the same. We're not their peer.
I'm sorry reading some of these comments, but that was an amazing point. You train them, so when you allow them, I check Julio now at 2. I'm like, excuse me, mommy's talking. When someone is speaking to you, you look them in the eye, you be quiet, and afterwards we can discuss. But I need to say what I need to say. You don't talk while I'm talking. Very important. But I'm gonna start from the bottom because this is hilarious. Carlisa Thomas again on the line. She said, "Well, I cuss people out, and my mama ain't cuss nobody out."
She true. That's the truth. She cuss people out all the time, but I've been trying to train her since she been born. Okay.
Abby
How to talk
says
to people.
they learn what they see. You have been trying.
Yeah.
But that goes back to children are who they are. Okay, we come here who we are. We just get guidance and move accordingly. Abby says children learn from what they see, and that me time is also is so important. Me time is so important. Absolutely.
I need you, Abby, on here before, because we in every one of these sessions that we have, we stress the fact that you have to have me time. You have to. That you gotta have a time for a child to go to bed. You gotta have a time for them to be with you and have time for them. But you got to have time for yourself.
And for your spouse.
And for your spouse, if you have one.
It's for your sanity.
All children need a bedtime, because when they have that bedtime, that gives you the time to do the things that you must do to keep your own self safe. Physically, mentally, spiritually, you gotta have time for yourself. Thank you, Abby.
You can't be the best you. Yeah, you can't be
that's
the best
important.
You can be for your child. If you stressed out and tired and cranky, you're not going to be able to show up for them like you need to.
Yes.
So take your time for you. If you got a hobby, if you need to just sit down with a cousin for a second, whatever it is, take that time. And then also,
Lisa got lots of jokes, y'all.
She got jokes today.
She got lots of jokes today.
And Danae talked about how the negatives is passed down from people doing what they see and their taught behaviors they might have received from their parents. And this is why we're doing this. It's time to break some of these chains, y'all.
Yeah.
These are generational curses that have been passed down. It's time to break them. And like I said at the beginning when I first started talking about my discipline style, I was like, I know it's very different from the way my mom disciplined. I know, and as it continues and as he continues to grow, I know it's going to change and it's going to maneuver and it's going to be different. We got to be able to roll with the punches. Take the good, leave the bad. We talked about that in one of our last shows as well. So again, if you guys haven't seen them, check them out there on YouTube. A Mother's Love, Love is Rooted in Happiness is the name of the page. So I think it's very, very, very important that we find the parenting or discipline style that matches our lifestyle and that we are really doing it. Not because we're angry, not for any of those reasons, but that we're doing it because we're trying to rear the best person or being humanly possible.
Right.
Everything that I do, even when I'm in the wrong and I stop and I sit back and I think about it later and I come back to my 2-year-old and we talk about it, is because I am trying to raise an amazing person. And we are producing the world around us. We are literally creating the world around us by how we discipline our children and the skills that we are implanting them with, whether that is just to say I'm sorry or being able to fully communicate how they feel and giving them a safe space for them to know that their feelings are valid. Because we can't always shut down everything our children say or what they want either.
Right.
Because that becomes a thing with discipline as well. My way or the highway. Yeah, you're going to do what I say do, but let's also talk about it. What do you need?
Right. That's why I say have conversation with them, let them know, but don't allow them to talk to you any kind of way. In our earlier show, it was I talked about respect. You having respect, you giving them respect, and they're giving you respect. We also talked about the learning from seeing what you went through and what you grew up with, and also we started new things because we didn't want to do the things that our parents did. Not everything is right. You have to rightly divide it, like the Bible tells you. You have to rightly divide what's good and what's not. And when we do that, then we make a better person. Like she said, we want to make better children. It's our time is going out. It's going to be their time to live. They're going to be the ones that's the next presidents of the United States.
The next parents.
And parents first, parents. But they're going to be the ones that run in our countries and our world. So how do we want them to do that?
Absolutely.
How do you want them to be the greatest doctor or lawyer or nurse or teacher or person, period? Yeah, what do you want them to be? What do you want them to show the next little one that's behind them to come up? I worked in the school system, and I see the older children come in, and they would come in and they would be pushing and fighting and cussing, and I would stop them, and I said, because the little people was behind them, I said, what are you teaching them? They're looking up to you because you're the oldest. So do you think you're teaching them right when you coming in here cussing and they hear you cussing? No. Give them the respect to know that when they look up to you, they see something that's great. They see something that they want to be like, or someone they want to be like, not somebody that's cussing each other out and fighting.
And we have a comment I want to bring up from Carlisa. Carlisa Thomas says, me making my children well-traveled, I feel I spoiled them. So spoiling, that's a part of discipline. Because people say kids are spoiled because they aren't getting shanked, or people say they're being spoiled for various different reasons, getting a lot of things. One, we do have to make sure our children know responsibility early. They have to have roles and responsibilities in the household. They have to be able to appreciate what they have and know that work is mandatory for anything in life. There are children that are spoiled because they don't understand that, they don't know that, and they think everything is supposed to be handed to them without work. That is a problem. But I don't think having your children be well-traveled is a problem. I think we also have to know that there's a difference between knowing that you have to work in life to get anything and to get anywhere and give them a work ethic, but also knowing that we don't have to struggle and exposing them to different things. So I don't think that having them travel is a problem. I think that if you are going to show them the world, take them to different places, I think that's amazing. I think our children need to see things outside of their day-to-day life. They need to meet new people. Making sure that the travel is rich in experience and not just traveling for the sake of traveling is my opinion. And then two, also letting them know that this is a gift. This isn't just something that you're going to receive just because. You have to earn these things. You have to work to a certain point to attain these things, because mommy got up and worked and got this money together to take you on this trip. So what are you going to do to earn this trip? So that's what I would say to that. Taking them outside of the country, outside of the city, outside of your town, outside of your neighborhood, I think it's right for children to travel and see the world, and even get a little bit of lack of luxury as well, because we have to know that our life we ain't meant to struggle, okay? But my point is making sure they know that it's not just given to them or handed to them, that it's responsibility that comes along with this. You have to earn everything that is given to you, because that is where the problem comes in. When people say their children are spoiled, they feel everything is entitled to them. They haven't earned it.
That's right. And let let them know the reason why you're able to do this. Okay, because listen, I be talking to my sister all the time, and in Georgia. So we talk about the difference in when we were working to the difference in our children working now. When I started working, minimum wage was $2 an hour. So I'm working making $2 an hour, and we don't have no we didn't have a lot of benefits. We didn't have a lot of benefits then. I'm working making $2 an hour. I'm taking care of 3 to 4 kids, working. But I wanted to show my children that in order to make it in this world, you have to work for yourself. Now, my children is coming up. They get more money, they get more benefits, and they have more savings, being able to save more than I could have when I was raising them. So they was not getting trips, and they were not getting all the fancy things or clothing and stuff like that, because they were getting what I could afford at that time. But I gave them what I could, which was lots of love and lots of understanding. They had everything that they needed at home. They had plenty of food. They had clothes on their back. They had a roof over their heads. And that's what I could afford at that time. It was once they got older, maybe I could have given them a little more. And I see to that then. But nowadays, these young people are having their own business.
No job.
They have their own businesses. They work where they're making more money. They got 4K1s and all of that. 4K. You see, I don't even know what it is because I ain't had one. And you know, they're making more money and putting stuff aside. And they're starting their own businesses. So they're working,
but
and
you
they're
have to,
starting
that's
their own
what's
businesses.
being taught though. Going back to what we teach our kids in discipline and things like that. If you have a young person, because some of these kids, I want to, you talk about spoiled. I spoiled. They getting the flyest shoes, the hottest brand new cell phone, spending money. They getting whatever they want or whatever they ask for at that time when they're not earning it, which is not giving them work ethic, which is going to leave them mistaken in life because they feel like everything needs to be handed to them. That's one. But if you teach a child correctly, if you really discipline yourself and them and show them how it's supposed to be, they will save. They will know how to budget. They will know how to run a business. At an early age, you got baby moguls out here making millions.
Yeah.
Because they were taught that. And we
Right.
have to, discipline is so important. As we start to round out the show, discipline is so important. Because if we don't teach our kids discipline, we are doing them a disservice in life.
A dishonor we are doing to them. Because they have to know that discipline comes in everything that you do. I was talking to my grandson. He was like, I don't want nobody telling me what to do. I said, in everything you do, it is discipline. I said, even when you own your own business,
You have to be disciplined.
you have to have discipline in order to make it work. Discipline is in everything that we do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's not just about who get a whooping, who get hollered at, who do this or that. It is all about living in the world today and any other day. When we was coming up, it was discipline.
We have to prepare our children to live in the world without us. One.
Yes.
Like on Black Panther, his daddy, he said, I'm not ready, Dad. He said, did I not prepare you
Right.
to live without me?
Right.
If I didn't, I didn't do my job. We are preparing our children to be able to live a full, effective life without us. And discipline is a huge part of that. If we don't teach them that, we're doing them a disservice. So again, figuring out what discipline is for you and your household can be different. Again, some people believe in hitting, some people don't believe in hitting. Some people believe in a balance. That is me. So whatever it may be for you, as long as you're doing whatever you're doing in a way that you are educating your child on how to be better and not just lashing out because they did wrong. That is the thing I think we need to remember.
Or just being children.
Or just being children.
We have to remember that they are just children. That's why it says, when I was a child, I thought as a child. But now that I'm an adult, you're supposed to think as an adult.
And we have to prepare them for that through
discipline.
Look at God. What do you do? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as we get ready to head out, you guys, take these facts away, okay? Remember, talk to your children. It's so important to talk to your children and let them know what's going on in the household with you, with what their behavior is, if it's wrong, if it's right. And also, don't just discipline your children. Appreciate when they do something and applaud something when they do something correct.
Absolutely.
If it's only discipline you're handing out, you're not going to have a well-rounded child, and they won't feel appreciated, and they won't know how amazing they truly are. So say thank you to them. Not only say sorry when you're wrong and expect them to say sorry when they're wrong, but say thank you.
Yes.
Say thank you to them and have them say thank you to you. Teach these simple good manner steps early. Yes. Early. Jaleel was saying please and thank you probably before, definitely before 2. He knows these things, and I say thank you, and I tell him when he's being helpful, and I tell him when he's being amazing, and it's a part of our affirmations in that time and at bedtime. And even if it was a rough day where he wasn't as great as he could be, I still tell him he's amazing. Yes. He just didn't choose to be amazing or show how amazing he was in those moments. And I don't tell him he's bad. I tell him to be better, because we're always striving to be our best self. So those are my takeaways. Talk to your children. Make sure that you congratulate them on their good, but also set that strict discipline as well.
And never, ever let them think that they're not loved. We must tell them every single day, as often as you think of it, that I love you and you are loved. We don't want them finding love outside of our doors. We want them to know that they are loved inside our houses and in our hearts. So never ever let them forget that they aren't loved. Okay, I enjoyed this session, and I would like to do it again.
See, I got it, y'all. I got it. We're going to do some more live shows for y'all. We still probably do some pre-records and put them up on YouTube. This will be on the Facebook page and on YouTube after we close down. But we're going to get her to do some more live shows.
Yeah, I loved it. I love the comments. I loved how we can read the comments and can answer them at that time. So I'm going to let Natalie tell about her program that she's going to be on tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yes, in just a few minutes. All right, guys. So, again, thank you all for coming in and commenting and showing your support and your love. A Mother's Love is every other week, so please make sure you stay in touch with us. Like and follow the page. And it's on YouTube as well as now, since she knows she can do it, we're going to be putting some more live videos out there for you guys too. But right now, it's 7 o'clock, immediately after we hop off this call. There is a screening for my documentary called At Their Feet. It's the Southside series of screenings of short films through community film workshops and real black filmmakers Chicago. And I'm one of those real black filmmakers. So, hey, y'all, check me out. So, it is at 7 o'clock. I'll post the link on my page. Mom has it on her page. It's pretty much on everybody's page at this point. You have to register. It's on Zoom. It's a free event. Check it out, you guys. I'm super excited.
What is Abby saying?
Let's see. I haven't popped up on mine yet. Abby, what you saying?
Y'all know
kids can be spoiled and disciplined.
Yes, they can. Why can't they be? That's something I had to say to to one of my people that they can be spoiled and disciplined at the same time. Yes, they can.
And she said we did a great job. Teach them respect, everyone, especially themselves. Yes, respect everyone and especially yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely, Abby.
Thank
and
you.
love on them every day. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank
because
you,
if
Abby.
we don't teach them self-love, that's another disservice. Discipline is one thing, but if you love yourself, you're going to love the people around you and you're going to walk through life differently. So respect and loving yourself is so important.
Yes,
every
it is.
action comes from that.
Let me give one more quote. It says in the Bible, love yourself, love your neighbor as you do yourself. So if you got great love for yourself, you're going to have some great love for your neighbors.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed talking with you guys, but we have to get ready to go. And I will see you next time on a Mother's Love umbrella under Love is Rooted in Happiness. See you next time.
Thank you, everybody. We got some more live shows coming.
Hey.
See ya. 7 o'clock.